Hello and welcome to 30 minutes of gentle yoga with the chair. I'm Kat and today we're going to be working on some hip openers that you can do in the chair or using a chair or wall for balance. The first pose we're going to do is half lotus. So I would like you to sit forward in your chair so that your sit bones are in your chair and your legs, the backs of your thighs are free. And then you're going to take your right leg, lift it up and place it on the opposite knee. Now, excuse me, I've got a hair in my face. Okay. If you can't get your foot on top of your knee like this, you can use a block. Putting the block right next to your left foot and resting the right foot on top of the block like this. So it's the outside of your foot on the block. So that's a workaround if you can't quite get your foot to your knee. If you get your foot to your knee and you feel like you could go a little bit farther, you can come underneath the foot and gently draw it up towards the top of your thigh. Now, this may cause your outer ankle bone to push into the top of your thigh, which can be a bit uncomfortable. If you can move that a little bit off to the side, that can be a little bit gentler. If you start to feel any strain in the knee, you're going to flex the foot strongly, especially the little toe side of the foot, and that will neutralize your ankle. Excuse me for that phone call. Just get that out. And we will now bend forward over that leg to deepen the stretch. So if you're already feeling a strong stretch, you can stay sitting upright. Otherwise, you're going to bend a little bit forward. You're feeling that stretch right around the hip, back of the buttock, inner groin area. And then wherever you are, coming back upright and releasing that right foot down. We'll do the left foot now. So holding behind the left knee, lift the left leg up and place the foot on the knee. Flex the foot to keep the strain out of the knee. If it's not bothering the knee, you can let the foot relax. And then if it's comfortable, you can bring that leg closer to the top of your thigh, sitting up straight, and then beginning to lean forward over your left leg, feeling that stretch around the thigh, the hip, the groin, letting that knee release down. And we'll just hold it here. If you're on the floor, you could do the same thing, sitting in easy cross legs and bringing the foot to the opposite knee. Of course, supporting the knee that is underneath with a rolled blanket if necessary. I'll show that in just a moment. Staying here, take a few more breaths. And then sitting up, step that foot down. So I just quickly want to show what that would look like on the floor. So sitting on the floor and easy cross legs, you notice my knees do not come down to the floor. So if I were to do this pose, say, we'll just do it on the left side, I'm going to support the right knee with a blanket so that it's not hanging in the air and sitting like this. So you could do this if you were on the floor. And then again on the other side, supporting the outer knee. Holding on to that knee and that foot and sitting up straight. All right. So that is half lotus in the chair or on the floor. The next pose we're going to do is warrior one in the chair. This opens up the front of the hip. So sitting in your chair facing forward, you're going to turn to the right and slide back in the chair so that the whole thigh is on the chair. Hold the back of the chair with your right arm and slide to the left. Bend your left knee and take the left toes back. And I'm running into my block, excuse me. Stretching that leg back. You want to get the knee, if you can, directly underneath the hip or even further back. Take the tailbone in, draw the abdomen in and up. Turn your left hip to face the wall to the right. And then reach that left arm up alongside the ear. If you'd like, you can lift the chest more and look up past the left hand, or you can keep that neck neutral, just looking forward. You want to be feeling a nice stretch through maybe the side of the abdomen here, definitely through the front of the hip and the top of the thigh. And then bringing that left arm down, bring your left leg forward, and we'll turn around and do the second side. Let me get rid of this chair for the moment. And warrior two, second side, so we're facing to the left. The left arm is on the back of the chair. You're going to slide to the right and drop the right leg down. Slide the right toes back. Good. Lift the chest. Draw the tailbone in. Draw the abdomen in and up. And square your hips to the left wall. Reach your right arm forward and up. And you have the option of remaining here where you're looking forward or lifting the chest more, moving the shoulder blades onto the back and looking up past your right arm. Breathing here. And then bringing the head back to neutral, bring the arm down and bring that leg forward. Turn back to the front. And then we're going to do warrior one at the wall with a block. So if you're not standing for the poses today, simply repeat warrior one in the chair while we do it standing at the wall. You will need a block, preferably a foam block. You'll put that block below the knee on the shin, right toes a few inches away from the wall. Block goes on the top of the shin, not on the kneecap, and you want your ankle directly underneath your knee. Then, two hands at the wall, step and slide your left foot back, coming as close to a 90-degree angle with your right thigh as possible. So you want to see if you can get that right hip in line with your right knee. Then, hands at the wall, roll the shoulders back and down, pull the tailbone in, draw the abdomen in and up, turn that outer left hip to the wall that you're facing. You can stay here with your hands at the level of your shoulders, or walk your hands slightly up the wall, reaching up the wall. And maybe take your hands off the wall and look up. Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1, using the support of the block at the wall. And again, bring your hands down to the wall, reach for that block, straightening the legs, turn the feet, and heel toe, small steps back together. So, second side, you'll put the block at the front of your shin, the top of your shin, on the left leg. So left toes start an inch or two away from the wall. Place that block below the knee and adjust so that your left ankle is directly underneath your left knee. Square yourself towards the wall and step and slide your left leg back until you get that left hip at about the same level as your left knee. Tailbone in, abdomen in and up. Turn that right hip towards the wall in front of you. And then you can stay here with your hands at shoulder height or walk your hands up the wall, reaching up, lifting the chest. And finally, you may choose to reach the arms up and look up in between the hands. Breathe here. Feel that nice stretch through the front of the hip, the front of the abdomen. And then bringing your hands back to the wall. Reach down for the block. Straighten the leg, turn the feet. Heel toe, small steps back together. All right, we're going to come back to the chair. And for this next one, I'm going to show you two versions. One, if you have two chairs and your hips are a little bit tighter. And the other, if you are a little bit more open through your hips and have one chair that you want to use. For the first one, we're going to sit in one chair with the second chair in front of us. And this is Pigeon pose, Ekapada Raja Kapotasana, which is actually one leg king pigeon pose. Now take your right leg, lift it up and place it on the seat of the chair in front of you. Slide that foot all the way across to the left side and then scoot forward so that your knee comes to one side of the back of the chair and your ankle is at the other. If this bothers your ankle, you can put a sticky mat in the seat of your chair and then a blanket on top of that if you need some extra padding. Hold on to the chair. My hips are still in the chair behind me and the two chair seats are touching. I'm going to take my left leg back into the side and now I'm coming more onto the chair in front of me. I've curled the toes under and I'm reaching back through that back leg, lifting the chest. And then I can also, so when I lift the chest and sit up straight, I'm getting a strong stretch through the front of my left thigh, just like I did in Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1. When I come forward towards the back of the chair, I begin to feel more of a stretch in the bent leg, hip, and groin. So come here, you come forward over this front leg. All right, this is Ekapada Raja Kapotasana, one leg king pigeon pose. Pushing yourself up. I'm going to take my hands back to the chair behind me and bring that left leg forward, and we'll do that on the second side. So take your left leg to the seat of the chair, slide the left leg across, and making sure the two seats of the chair are close to each other. Come forward. So I'm still sitting on the back chair right now. I'm going to swing my right leg back, and now my weight's a little bit forward onto that front chair. Curl the toes under. The chairs make my leg go a little bit out to the side, but you're looking to bring it in as close as possible. You can even move a little bit off to the side, but keep the leg parallel, the shin as parallel as you can to the front of the chair. So that's why having the knee at one end of the chair and the ankle on the other side, and it keeps that shin more parallel and gives you a deeper stretch through that front hip. So first I'm upright, straightening that right leg, feeling that stretch here in the front of the hip. And then I'm going to come forward. You can put your hands on the top of the back of the chair or down on the seat of the chair and bend the elbows, coming forward and feeling that stretch move possibly into the front bent leg hip. And then pushing yourself back, bring your hands up and slide back, bringing the right leg forward and down. All right, so I'm going to show this next one. It's the same pose, but we're going to do it on one chair. You have to be able to stand to get into the one chair. And I'm going to show it with the sticky mat and blanket padding the chair. So here I have my thinner sticky mat so that it is easier to fold and place through the back of the chair. And then I have my blanket for a little extra padding on that chair seat. Now, when we do this in the chair, we're actually going to take the knee through the back of the chair. And I'm going to need to move this chair for my back leg. So standing near the side of your chair, we'll do the right leg first. So standing near the left side of your chair, you're going to put your right knee on the chair, bring it forward through the back edge of the chair, and place your right ankle at the opposite side. So again, you want the shin to be as parallel as possible, but you also want to be secure in the chair. So depending on the tightness of your hip, you may have this knee back behind the bar of the chair on the side or in front. Now, you can swing that back leg back and actually get all the way into the aligned part of the pose, the aligned positioning, so that left leg is coming straight back from my left hip. I'll show you from the side on the second side. So here I am sitting up. I'm feeling that stretch through the front of the left thigh by really straightening that leg. And then I can also come forward and feel the stretch more in the bent leg hip. All right. And then pushing up to come out, bring that left leg forward and use your arms to help yourself out of the chair. So I'm going to show the second side. I'll show it from this side. We're going to take the left leg forward into the chair. So standing by the right side of the chair, place your left knee in the chair. Left knee goes to the far side and the ankle goes to the other side. And Here again, you might have your knee through the back of the chair, or kind of depending on your flexibility and what your chair is, you might have that knee back with the shin more parallel to the back of the chair. Then swing that right leg around behind. So now my right leg is going straight behind me, straight behind the hip, and I'm straightening that leg to find the stretch through the front of the hip, lifting the chest, king pigeon pose. So puff up your chest like a pigeon. And then you can also come forward to the back edge of the chair. I like to put my hands here and bring my chest forward and really feel that stretch now through that bent front leg. So there you are from the side, pushing yourself up. Bring the knee through the chair so you're more on the chair. Bring the right leg forward and then stand up. Okay, so you can take the blanket and sticky mat out of your chair and come back to seated in the chair for Malasana or Garland pose. So for this one, you can use 2, or if you have them 4 blocks. You can also use stacks of blankets or bolsters to basically lift the floor up and get a deeper stretch in your hip. So first version of Malasana in the chair is taking your feet a little bit wider than the seat of the chair and turning your knees and feet out slightly. You're going to put these blocks where your feet are. So bringing the feet in, placing the blocks slightly out to the side, putting my feet up on the blocks, and then scooting forward to the front edge of the chair. And here, even with just one set of blocks underneath, you may feel a stretch in the ankle as you come forward over the feet, bringing the hips to the front edge of the chair. We can go a little bit deeper by putting another block there. If you just have blankets, you're just putting the blankets in this position. Or bolsters. I've got another set of blocks. So I'm going to put my 2 blocks here. 4 blocks all together. And again, feet up on the blocks. Slide forward towards the front edge. And you may be feeling a nice stretch here, not only in the ankles, but also in the inner groins, in the outer hips. Okay, take the knees apart from each other over the ankles. So there's, if you relax, the knees might want to try to come in toward the center. You want to keep them a little wide, activating the outer hip muscles, stretching the inner thighs. Right. And then depending on the props that you have, you could take the feet up even higher to 3 blocks under each foot. Or if you're able to come to the wall, you could do this pose on the wall. So stepping your feet down, you're either going to stay here, adjust with a 3rd block on each stack. I recommend using alternating foam and wooden blocks. So foam so it doesn't slide on the floor, wood for stability, and then another foam so it doesn't slide on top of the wooden block. A stack of wooden blocks would be too slippery unless you put sticky mat pieces in between. All right, so Malasana at the wall. We're going to move some of these things out of the way. and come with our back against the wall. Take your feet, and this is going to be individual. I'm taking my feet about 6 to 7 inches away from the wall. My feet are slightly wider than my hips, just an inch or so, and my toes are pointed out to the side. I'm going to slide down the wall. I want to keep my heels down, and then I can take my hands to the insides of my knees, place my palms together for a stretch here in Malasana, Garland pose. Letting those hips release down towards the floor, getting a nice strong stretch in the ankle and in the inner thighs. All right. And then we have one more pose to do. So to come out of this one, it's easiest to just release the legs, sitting on the floor and then coming up. And we'll do Ustrasana, camel pose in the chair. So for this, it can be helpful to have a second chair in front of you for balance as you get into the pose. So here, I've got my second chair in front of me, and I'm going to tuck my feet underneath the chair, tops of the feet to the floor, and then transfer my hands back to the chair that I'm sitting on. I'm going to move this chair so you can see what my feet are doing. I've tucked my feet back, tops of the feet on the floor. I'm right at the front edge of my chair. Oh, getting a little cramp in that right foot. It's the one that I have the sprain. Okay. All right. And holding on to the sides of the back of the chair, lift the chest, look up, walk those feet back as far as you can, stretching through the front of the thigh, front of the hip, opening the chest, rolling the shoulders back and down, away from the ears. And then lift up, bringing the feet forward, and sitting back in the chair. I'm going to show you that from the side. So I can have my balanced chair in front of me, and the chair that I'm sitting on here. I'm going to move my blocks out of the way. And sitting at the front of the chair, tuck the feet under. Good. Transfer the hands back. Walk the feet back as far as they'll go. Lift the chest. Look up. Ustrasana, camel pose. Lift the shoulder blades into the body. Roll the outer shoulders back and down. Open the fronts of the thighs. And then bring the feet forward, slide back, and sit up. Well, thank you for joining me for 30 minutes of gentle yoga with the chair. If you'll turn back towards the screen, we will bring the palms together in front of the heart. Take a breath here. The light in me acknowledges the light in you. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the hip openers in the chair and on the floor, and I hope to see you again soon.